coming to the stage, William Leonard. He is an investor at Valor Ventures. Just a little bit about William. He graduated with honors from Mercer University, where he studied finance and entrepreneurship. Throughout undergrad, William sharpened his finance, venture capital, and startup skill set with roles at Morgan Stanley, VU Venture Partners, and Royalty Headwear and the Knock app. So definitely looking forward to hearing more about William and his background and what incredible things are going on at Valor Ventures. Let's bring William to the stage. How's it going, William?
Hey, Kenneth, how are you, man?
Doing good. So I'm going to get on out of your way so you can share with the folks. Just a quick reminder for everybody listening in. Hit that Q&A section. If you got any questions, put them in there. If you see a question somebody else has asked, make sure you upvote it. Make sure, as William is sharing his story in the comments, share there as well. Hit him with an emoji. Give him some energy as he's going through this and sharing, some background on what he's been doing over at Valor Ventures. Thanks, William.
Cool. Hey, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all virtually. So I don't have a formal PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. Just going to talk to you all, very conversational. So I can kind of start off by just giving you a quick rundown about Valor and our team a bit. So we're headquartered here in Atlanta, Georgia. Our firm was founded in 2015, really with the premise of investing inclusively at the seed stage in the Southeast US. And so our founding general partner was Lisa Calhoun, and she was an entrepreneur here in the region. And she built a pretty successful digital marketing startup and really struggled to raise capital. And, there was a lot of bias, a lot of industry norm at the time that prevented her from raising capital. So she actually said, I'm just going to raise my own fund and self-fund my thing. And so she was actually the first woman to raise a venture fund in the Southeast US. So a little bit about Valor. We're investing at the seed stage. We're looking to lead seed rounds for startups headquartered in the Southeast US. And so we're actively investing right now out of our second fund. And so, we have a true focus on the Southeast because when you think about it, according to the census, it's the fastest growing, most diverse region in the country. And so when you think about the opportunity to be at the next frontier of innovation within the US, it was almost a no-brainer for Lisa to focus on this region. So we've got 19 portfolio companies in our fund right now. Some of the industries that we look at are cyber, fintech, healthcare, e-commerce, MarTech. Obviously, I think everybody knows about Web3. There's a lot of industries that we look at, but we're looking at B2B, so business to business, software as a service. That's kind of like the core business model that our fund likes. B2C and D2C, they're a little bit more difficult for us, just given our team's experience with the enterprise realm. And I'll certainly talk more about our team in a second, but our portfolio currently is over 70% led by underrepresented founders. And so I have a couple portfolio companies, some of you all actually may be familiar with, but I'm going to share my screen and kind of talk through them a bit. So give me one sec. Cool. So I hope you all can see my screen. So this first company is called The Gathering Spot. And if you've been to Atlanta or DC, you've probably heard about The Gathering Spot in some capacity. And so basically they're a private membership club for diverse creators, entrepreneurs, business professionals. And so you see the two co-founders here, Ryan Wilson and TK Peterson. They went to Georgetown up in DC and opened their first location in Atlanta here. And they also have a new location in DC and getting ready to open another one up in LA. And so Valor was actually their first and only institutional investor into the company. And so when you think about, The Gathering Spot, they've hosted events for Salesforce, Afrotech, and even the mayor of Atlanta recently held his acceptance speech at the gathering spot. So it's not just a co-working space. This is a space for the intersection of culture, community, and creativity, I'd say. And then I'll move on to the second company I wanted to talk about. Georgia Z has built Lease Query. And so basically, Lease Query is it's a startup here in Atlanta providing software to help enterprises with complex lease accounting. And so it's really bringing a modern approach to something that's been traditionally done through Excel and very manually. And so I encourage you all to read up on George a bit. His story is really interesting. And they've also raised over $20 million from Goldman Sachs as well. So really excited about George and what he's doing. And then the last company I'll talk about from our portfolio is Good Find. And so if any of you all are up in DC, certainly would want you to support Sophie and Lemaire. And so Good Find is basically a marketplace and contactless payments solution for food trucks. And so it's bringing transparency to the equation for one, the lot owner, two, the food truck owner, and three, the consumer like you and I. And so they've grown significantly throughout COVID as many food payment solutions went contactless. And so actually, Sophie just had an article released about her and her team today in Forbes, actually. So here's the article. Encourage you to check it out and read a bit more about Sophie and what she's doing up in DC and where she's expanding to next. So, and then I'll briefly touch on our team a bit. So this top row here is our general partnership. Like I said, founding partner, Lisa Calhoun, first woman to raise a venture fund in the Southeast US. And then we've got Robin B. and Faye here. Robin, you all probably use a patent that Robin created. So when you call Delta and you want to change your flight and speak to a representative or something like that, and they say, we have high call volume right now, and we'll keep your spot in line and call you back. That's actually Robin's patent. So Robin is a very technical, innovative, forward-thinking investor on our team. We've got Gary here. He's been cloud software investing for over 22 years in the Southeast. And then we just added our newest general partner, Renee Montgomery. She's a former WNBA player. She's a champion. She's an all-star. And she's actually co-owner of the women's basketball team here in Atlanta. So we've got a really diverse and dynamic general partnership. And then that's myself right there. I don't really like that picture, but I'm gonna let y'all see it anyway. So I'll stop sharing my screen now and come back on with you all. So a little bit more about Valor. Like I said, we write checks anywhere from about $500,000 to $1 million. And so we're a lead seed investor in the Southeast, which is pretty rare. And we chose that position because there's a huge opportunity when you think about cities like Raleigh, cities like Atlanta, Miami, Nashville, New Orleans, that are just burgeoning tech hubs. So, you know, a little bit about our process as a team. You know, we can make decisions fairly quickly. And when I say fairly quickly, that's like 2 to 3 weeks. So usually I'm the first point of contact that a founder has with our firm. And then we talk internally, usually that following week. And then I'd say in about 1 to 2 days, we can determine if we'd like to participate in this round by being a lead investor for you. So we have a small team, but we move quickly, we move efficiently, and we're very diligent in getting feedback to founders as well. And so one of the things that Brittany wanted me to talk about was how do we support founders outside of capital? And so we have our Innovation Council, which is a curated list of enterprises like Delta, Truist, Home Depot, Coca-Cola, and others that we can introduce our portfolio founders to. And equally, our founders have access to those enterprises and senior tech leaders and executives at those enterprises. So as you think about being an early stage startup, you need enterprise connections to grow. You need connections, whether they're through enterprise, whether they're through other startups. And so that's where we really see one of our biggest value adds, and also helping our founders at the seed stage build a sales team. So that's a very underrated thing that a lot of investors don't really partake in, from what I've heard from founders in the industry, right? They give you capital, then they just kind of turn you loose. But we give you capital and we say, hey, here's some introductions we can make. Hey, here's some ways that we can bolster your sales team and help you take, what you see right now, maybe 10,000 in monthly recurring to 20 to 30 to 40. And so we're really a hands-on investor in that regard. So I said a lot there. I can ramble for days. So I hope y'all are filling the chat with some questions. And my LinkedIn is William Leonard. And then my email is william@valor.vc. I'll drop it here in the chat as well. I am very available. I'll let Kenny come back up.
Thanks for that breakdown there, William. We have questions for you in the Q&A section. Folks have been chiming in, starting with the top voted question from David Nazir. Couldn't find it clearly on the website. What specific verticals do you invest in? So you mentioned B2B, but within that, are there certain industries that are hot topics for Valor Ventures right now?
Yeah, so I'd say for us, cyber, fintech, healthcare, really anything in the world of B2B is fair game for us to take a look at as investors, because like I mentioned, we've got that innovation council, which consists of so many different types of enterprises. And so I'd say cyber, fintech, and healthcare are kind of like our big three, but equally we're open to looking at a lot of different verticals within B2B and SaaS. And if you take a look at our portfolio, you can kind of see the spectrum of where we've invested at.
Got it. And then you've touched on kind of the geographic footprint of Valor, but we did have a couple questions that were asked around can people apply? Like Tan Davis, she's asking, will people be able to apply further away? She's in the UK. Based in the wellness tech. And then we had a couple other folks as well just chiming in to see, does it expand outside the Southeast, or in particular, is it geared towards that geographic region only?
Yeah, that's a great question that we get a lot. So out of our second fund that we're investing in right now, the majority of our investors, the people who are giving us money to invest in you all, they're here in the Southeast region. And so we're kind of focused on that region out of Fund 2. But when Fund 3 comes around, we certainly plan on expanding to other geographies. I'm not sure if we'd go outside of the United States, but potentially New York, Chicago, other underserved sections within the country could also see us pop up.
Got it. Caden Sage is chiming in. Is a company with MVP establishing significant traction a good fit for Valor? So thinking along the lines of, how early, if you could give us some perspective, how early can the company apply with Valor?
For sure. So we invest in companies that are post-product, post-revenue. So MVP, your MVPs in the market, and post-revenue, we like to see at least a couple thousand in monthly recurring, or a couple paying customers that we can speak to throughout our diligence process. So 99% of the investments that we do are post-product and post-revenue. So I hope that gives some clarity there.
Got it. That definitely does. Next up, around office hours, Hannah wants to know, are there any office hours for people to connect with yourself, or just the different stakeholders over at Valor Ventures?
For sure. So you see my Twitter is there, my LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably one of the best ways to reach me, equally through email. So feel free. I don't have like a formal office hours session, but I work with founders literally day in and day out to just give feedback. So hit me up. I'm more than happy to jump on a quick call and have some office hours. So very available.
Yeah, and along those lines, LaShawna chiming in, are there any deadlines for applications, and where can they go to apply if they feel like they're ready?
Yeah, so I'll share my screen really quick. I have it pulled up here. So we're always looking at new companies to invest in. I don't know. Can you all see my screen right now? Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, cool. So if you go to our website, valor.vc/lead seed rounds that'll take you to this form here where you can literally input your company name, your pitch, website deck, all that kind of stuff. And this goes directly into our CRM, and it allows us to kind of see what you're working on from a very high level. And one of our team members will reach out back to you and say, hey, like this is a fit. Let's talk. Let's jump on the phone, or we'll get back and say equally not a fit at this time for X, Y, and Z reasons. So yeah.
Got it. I'm filtering through some of the questions here because quite a few people were actually wondering about the geography, but you definitely answered that clearly earlier with the Southeast being the footprint for all investments at this current time, and there's some opportunity there with that second fund.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, at Atlanta scene, this is one of the questions that we were able to gather in advance from different founders. In Atlanta, it seems that all right, my screen is moving. Sorry about that. All right. Give me 1 second, William.
No, you're good.
Atlanta seems to be becoming the Silicon Valley of the South since Valor is based in Atlanta. My screen is like, and since Valor is based in Atlanta, do you have a clear lens of the space, and what are your thoughts on startups outside of Silicon Valley in general, where we always hear, people say, hey, you gotta be in certain areas to get those types of investments that Valor is trying to offer.
Yeah, I think before it used to be an advantage to be in Silicon Valley, but now it's an advantage to be outside of Silicon Valley because you have so much perspective out here in these regions where, like the Southeast, like I said, is one of the most diverse regions in the country. And so when you have diversity of thought, diversity of opinion at the table at your startup or on your investment team, you're going to be able to make more well-informed decisions and expand who you can target as a customer. So I love Atlanta, man. You look at all the unicorns here. You look at you just look at the population growth that we're seeing. Everybody is moving to Atlanta, man. Like the tech scene here is incredible. So
Talk about it.
yeah, if you think about moving to Atlanta to build your company or to work for a startup, definitely hit me up on Twitter, LinkedIn. More than happy to chat with you, plug you into some of the connections I have here. So yeah.
Appreciate that, William. Again, that's the end of the QA time that we have slotted for William, but we definitely appreciate you sharing about Valor Ventures and what's going on over there, and then hyping up Atlanta, right? Excellent place to go. Lots of culture there, and you spoke highly of the diversity that's in a city like that. So why not invest in a place like that? But definitely appreciate you for sharing and giving us your time today. William's already given the folks, he's already given you his contact information. So again, keep the conversation going. Reach out to William, set up some time, some follow-up time, some one-on-one time so you can share what your business is doing and if Valor is the right fit from an investment perspective. But thanks again, William.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Y'all take care.